Well, I'm in Mallorca, Spain, getting a chance to drive the e-Golf that is coming to Canada this June. It'll be sold as a 2017, and then the 18s will come in the fall. Now, this car is greatly improved from the original e-Golf that wasn't available in our marketplace. It has a bigger battery, it has greater range, and is quicker to charge. If you plug it into a regular 120 volt outlet, it's going to take 26 hours. Now, most people with any electric car are strongly encouraged to upgrade to a charger at their home with 240 volts, and that charges this car in about 4 to 5 hours. Now, if you have a quick charging opportunity at one of the high voltage systems, it can range anywhere from 45 minutes to 30 minutes, up to 80% of the battery's capacity. So that's what's going on with the electrification part. Then you look at the outside. This is the facelifted Golf. You get new headlamps that are LED in this car, new front bumper, new rear bumper, and new rear LED lamps as well. So it's a much more polished look than the previous version. And inside, what sets this car apart from much of the competition is the high level of finish. Now, the inside of this e-Golf is the same as the others. The only difference is you lose a tiny bit of space in the floor of the trunk for the battery. The battery runs down the middle of the car. It's kind of in an H pattern, and you use just a tiny bit of space out the back. Now, there's different packages for this car. It's kind of looked at as now a top-end model, competing with the Golf R, not on performance, but as an aspirational model. So one thing that you might want to consider is the larger 9.2-inch screen in the center of the dash, and also the digital dashboard behind the steering wheel. Now, they don't come together in one package, they come in separate packages, but when you fully load this car, it's going to come out to just around $40,000, which is right on par with a fully loaded Leaf and much cheaper than a fully loaded Bolt, but of course the Bolt gets the extra range. So what are these packages? The first one is the Tech package. That gets you the 9.2-inch screen with gesture controls, the one that we have here, and you also get a Wi-Fi hotspot included in that for $2,305. Now, to get the digital dashboard, you get a lot in this package. It's the driver assistance package. Adaptive cruise control with stop and go, automated driving, full safety suite of all the latest safety equipment. The digital dashboard, that too is $2,305. So when you take the $36,000 price tag, add on those two packages, and add on $3,600 if you want to get the leatherette, brings it up to roughly $40,000. So what is worth getting? Well, the full safety suite is attractive. The beautiful 9-inch screen is attractive. However, there is no volume knob on the screen. The base model gets an 8-inch screen, which is probably fine, and you get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay as standard equipment. So the e-Golf we're getting in Canada is actually the second generation of this product. Now, it's still on the same Mark 7 platform of the Golf, but they upgraded the battery. Now it gets 201 official kilometers from Natural Resources Canada. But the thing is, we've been getting in these cars over the last couple of days, and they've been starting out their range much higher than that. For example, it was around 270 kilometers this morning, because it's based on the driving style that you have. If you're an ultra-efficient driver, you can probably eke out more than 200 kilometers, which is the official rating. Plus, you can also set up the way the car brakes. Right here in the center, you have the shifter, and just like a Tiptronic or an automatic transmission, you can aggressively put the regen braking on or make it much lighter. Now, this car is heavier, a lot heavier than the regular Golf. It's around 400 kilometers heavier because you've got these big batteries running across the bottom of the car. Now, that also brings the center of gravity way down, which makes the vehicle feel planted on the road. Now, the brakes are always something with an electric car that are tricky to do. It's kind of hard to modulate the brake. You do adapt, though, the more you drive it. Acceleration is brisk, 135 horsepower. It used to be 115 with the previous car, but torque is instantaneous, of course, with an electric car. So we're driving at highway speeds, doing exactly 100 kilometers an hour right now. It's very quiet, and this is a satisfying car to drive, and it's quite interesting to see that the mileage is actually much better than advertised. One thing to notice is this car has a heated windshield with elements running up and down. We've seen that in Land Rover and Range Rover in years gone by, and it does have a little bit of a focal issue. Sometimes you look at it, sometimes you look through it. You do adapt to that after a while, but it's nice that you can preheat this car in your garage. You can have the electric windshield on, so on a cold Canadian morning, even with heated seats, once you get in the car, you take off and the car's already warm. Now, what I like about this e-Golf is when you compare it to some other electric cars, they kind of cheap out on the inside, a lot of plastic, not very much content. This car is kind of the opposite. It's the latest in technology. They've gone whole hog with the large screen in the center, the digital dashboard. It's not standard, but it is available to you, and it's not too crazy to add those things on. So when you get in this car, I always call the Golf kind of like Audi Light, and this one certainly is the case. Then you add in the surprising range. We've seen over 200 kilometers of range in this car, and then you add in the surprising price. They've really been quite aggressive at $36,000 for this car. You add in $14,000 off that in the province of Ontario, that brings it down to the regular price of a regular Golf. Then you have $8,500 in Quebec and $5,000 in BC. And those are the three jurisdictions right now where this car is being sold. So a much improved e-Golf, and thankfully it's available now in Canada.